Sometime back in 2025, a content creator by the name of AX had produced a video addressing his concerns with the whole waifu over the quote-unquote meta. Now, throughout the video, one of his prominent examples that he ended up using was Dea from Genshin Impact when she had originally released. And while he did give credit to the character, saying that later characters that came out like Natlin, for example, did help improve performance, he still felt very jaded by how she was released, despite being a standard banner character, which he did bring up Tignari as a counter example. There was one particular piece of the video that I want to focus my commentary on, and that is on the advice section that he briefly covered in the video. So he has two different screenshots. First one is who should I pull for, and then he follows it up with another gif of pull for who you want. I'm just going to give you my perspective on this because AX feels like this is not a very productive answer for this respective question. My personal POV on this is that I think this is a very valid response to give to anybody who gives this type of a question. These questions of who should I pull for or should I pull for character XYZ, they are not bad questions. However, they are very lazy questions because there's no context provided for these particular situations. Now, the only time that I think that this kind of question works is if the person that you're speaking with has had a long-running history of chatting back and forth with you about your account progression, rather that's in Honkai Star Rail or whatever game it might be. If that ends up being the dynamic, then this kind of a question is fine. But under the premise that we're talking about two completely different strangers who don't know each other, this is a lazy question. So I feel it completely justified for somebody to respond to the lazy question with the same effort of a response of pull for who you want, pull for who you like. You can't expect everyone on the internet to go above and beyond to try to get information out of somebody. Yes, some players will do that. They will go above and beyond when they're not giving any context to work with to be able to narrow things down. Everyone's not going to do that. Also, I think that a major problem that a lot of people who ask the who should I pull for or should I pull character XYZ, I get the vibes that they expect everyone online to automatically know what they've been doing on their account from the time they started playing all the way to the time that they ask that question. And that's just not a realistic standard. The people who are reading those kind of comments, we don't know you as the person asking the question. Like, most of us aren't going to know you. We're not mind readers. And the more context you provide, the more help that we would be able to provide to you as individuals who may be in a position to be able to help you. Let me give you an example. Let's say hypothetically Cyrene has a rerun and somebody says, hey, should I pull Cyrene? Well, I don't know. Should you pull Cyrene? Should you not pull Cyrene? I got nothing to work with. I can very easily ask multiple questions based off of that. For starters, what is your end game goal? Are you just playing the game just to be playing the game and collecting characters? Are you somebody that is trying to clear the in-game content? And if so, what in-game modes are you struggling the most with? And the aspect of Cyrene specifically, how many Chrysos hairs do you have? Because if you don't have any Chrysos hairs and your intention isn't to get any, then Cyrene is going to have lower value for your account in comparison to another player who has numerous Chryso hairs on the account. Also beyond that, are you willing to complete team archetypes that Cyrene just so happens to be really good in? You see all those questions that I just asked just based off of that single example? But I know that might not be enough of an eye-opener for anybody who may be watching this video. So I'll give a real life example. Let's say somebody goes into a shoe store. Person walks in and they just say, hey, I'm looking to buy a pair of shoes. There's no context provided to this. Now, me, never selling shoes in my life, there's multiple things that's already going through my head. Okay, what price budget are you working with today? Are you looking for something work related or more casual? Are you looking for a particular brand of shoe? What shoe size do you wear? You see, I just asked about 4 or 5 different questions based off of that because there was no context provided. Context really matters. The more context that the person asking the question provides, the better quality of an answer that you should be able to get from the person that ends up deciding to help you, if you do get that help. I'll give another example. I got a Stellar Blade video up on my YouTube channel right now. It's like literally the introduction video. Somebody can always watch it if they want. If somebody were to ask me, hey, should I play Stellar Blade? I'm not going to be able to answer that question because I don't know that person. What genre of games have you historically played? What games have you played just in general? How is your reaction time? Are you okay with playing a game that has a heavy parry mechanic? Are you okay with playing a Dark Souls-like experience? Do you like to play games that are more open world or more linear? Do you like to play games that are more combat focused or more story oriented? You see, those are just some examples that I gave. At the end of the day, context matters. And a lot of people, they ask very lazy questions and then they always expect people to go above and beyond to help them. And that's not always going to play out like that. Context matters. If you're asking for help, provide all the context so that way somebody doesn't have to go through the process of asking a whole bunch of unnecessary questions that could have been avoided outright. Now, in regards to the whole waifu husbando thing and the whole quote unquote meta thing, I'll briefly comment about that in a general sense. I do feel like there are a good number of players who tend to underestimate the waifu and husbando enjoyers. And the reason why I say that is I believe that there is this stipulation that waifu and husbando players just throw together slot parties. And while that is true for certain individuals, that doesn't apply to most players in my opinion. These individuals are still forming really good parties. The only thing is they are not going to pull for a character based on performance being the top priority. So in context of waifu and husbando enjoyers, their priorities, the performance is like the least important factor for them. The things that those waifu and husbando players tend to prioritize above the performance could be lore, backstory, personality, could be their visual design, could be their combat animations, could be the voice actor or actress. All of those things matter more than the performance. Now for the quote unquote meta players, is basically inverse that, with the performance being number one and then everything else that I mentioned being number twos, and that's basically the difference between the two crowds. Now the reason why I think the waifu husbando enjoyers are a little bit better off is because at the end of the day, the quote unquote meta will shift very quickly at the end of the day. So these players who decide to stick with their characters because they just like them and they're able to invest into them and still have success with them, I do think that it is a healthier way to approach the game on a long-term basis versus individuals who just really stress over the quote unquote meta. I think there's a reason why a lot of these individuals end up burning out and quitting the game. Of course, waifu and husbando players do end up quitting as well because maybe there's not enough males that get released in the game, for example, so therefore they stop playing the game. Or maybe there ends up not being a new waifu that they want to go for, so they end up stop playing the game. Or perhaps they already have a waifu or a husbando and that said character is no longer getting support. That said waifu or husbando doesn't get a new playable form, and it sucks for that person because that could have been a character that really drove them to play the game. And as whatever game starts to shift away from that character more and more, and the less that they're able to use that character, the more of a disconnect they end up with the game. At the end of the day, there's pros and cons with both the waifu husbando enjoyers versus the quote unquote meta players. There is no inherent like right way to play the game. There is a wrong way to play the game though. And the wrong way of playing the game is individuals who choose to impose their play style on other individuals when it wasn't asked for. I think that is a wrong way about going and playing the game because what that will just do is cause a lot of hostility. Just my POV. If you had taken out the time to watch this or listen to this, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. You be safe out there. Deuces.
Strength isn't what it was.
Don't blink. The ocean, strong beast.
We have the edge.
Good times. Time to say bye.
Challenge.
Boom.
Your pride rise.
Stand still. May as well kill them all.
Offer you a requiem. Stream forth.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
It smells. This is double speed.
half the work. On the still waters of oblivion.
Watch closely.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
This combat weaken. This is double speed. Found me. Is it coming?
Destined for oblivion.
More enemies. Time for a fun. This is double speed. You can't run.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. Still water.
You want to take it back? Take it on. Found me. This combat. This is double speed. You'll fight like
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. Destined for oblivion.
Found me. Deliver force.
Still water. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
This combat weaken. This is double speed. You want to take advantage? Take it on. Time for fun. This is double speed. You can't run. It's coming. I feel like
Destined for oblivion.
a little gray's too much for you. Found me. Time for fun.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
This combat weaken. This is double speed.
Still water. Night remains. Our cute play session's over. With enough belief, life become reality! Yes! You can't run! I weep for the departed. It takes your soul.
Something's fishy. It's coming. I feel like let me go! This combat need. This is double speed. You took the bait. Time for fun. This is double speed. Underestimate. Take it off.
Destined for oblivion.
Found me.
I weep for the departed.